Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Love Writing a Latte Cafe podcast. I want you to grab a coffee, take a seat in the cafe, and let's talk about this writing journey that we're about to go on. Hope you guys are doing well. It's been a crazy day, crazy week actually, here in Texas, as far as the weather goes. I mean, it's like 70 degrees day and 20 degrees at night. It's crazy. Even for Texas, this is crazy. This is crazy weather. So I hope wherever you are at least in a comfortable range temperature wise. Because I love the cold, but I'm not a fan of it being warm during the day and cold at night. It's the middle of January. Bring on the cold, like day in and day out. Bring on the cold. Serious. This is monotonous. It's in my system. It's messing me up. I can't think straight. But anyway, and as always, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, hope you're enjoying it. Hope you're happy, and I hope you're finding time to spend time with those that you love. And I know I say that quite often, but truth be told, life is precious, especially, and I think we've really come to know that in these past few years, past couple of years, that we've had COVID and all this stuff. I think we've found out just how precious life is and how memorable spending time with family and friends can be. So that's why I say that. So again, whatever you're doing, I hope you're enjoying it, and I hope you're finding time to spend time with those that you love. So today we're gonna embark on a subject that I'm sure many of you have had a hard time with. And that is the dreaded writer's block. I know that has bewildered so many people, because it's like you're going good, you're making progress, then all of a sudden it's like boom, shut down. And you're like, what just happened? I was going good. I got all this stuff on this paper. Now I can't even think of who the characters are. Writer's block. And many, even the great writers, great authors, experience writer's block. So it's nothing uncommon. If you're a beginner or if you're an expert writer, you've experienced writer's block, and there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't mean that you are you've lost creativity. It doesn't mean that you've lost your spunk or your anything like that. It just means that, in my definition, it just means that your brain is trying to process so much at one time. It is trying to capture this story that you are creating, and really, plain and simple, we're thinking too much. Instead of letting the creative process flow, we're thinking, if I can talk today, it'd be awesome. We're thinking too much. And as a result of that, our brain shuts down because we're not allowing that creative process to flow. And because we're not allowing that creative process to flow, our story gets distorted. Because if you're like me, you try to write and or write through the writer's block, try to write past the writer's block, and you read it and you're like, what in the world was I thinking? What in the world was I doing? This doesn't make sense at all. Right? It's because it's forced. It's forced. You're not, and that's the thing, you're not thinking. Because you can't think. You've got writer's block. You can't think. And, and so you results have to go back and erase that and just start afresh whenever you can. Now that we have dealt with writer's block and figured out what it was and the cause of it, how do you get rid of it? Well, I'm going to tell you how I get rid of writer's block, and different methods work for different people. So if this works for you, great. If not, then that's fine too. But if it works for you, then let me know. If it doesn't work for you, let me know. 03-452-8811. You can you feel free to text me. Again, that number is 903-452-8811. And let me know if this method works for you. Let me know how you are enjoying the podcast, if you're enjoying the podcast. And if it doesn't work for you, let me know that also. And how much you're enjoying the podcast as well. Or if you're enjoying it at all. And what would you like for me to cover on a podcast? So, yeah. So how do you get rid of writer's block? Well, what I do, I found out that writer's block and athletes kind of go hand in hand, or writers and athletes, because the way I see writer's block is, when a runner is like, they're running, and they catch a cramp, and they can't run anymore. They maybe fall on the track, or they'll limp over to the sidelines and seat because of that cramp. And sometimes the coach or whoever, the trainer, will either put an ice pack on, or they'll do something to relieve the stress and the pressure and the strain on that muscle, and allow that muscle to relax and go back to its to the shape that it was in, instead of being in a knot, so to speak. Well, the writer's block is kind of the same way. Is that you're writing so much, you're writing. In a sense, your brain kind of catches a cramp. Not a painful cramp, but a mental cramp, to where you can't think. You can't write, you can't be creative. And if you try to force write, or write past the writer's cramp, you just come up with a bunch of nonsense. At least I do. Now, you might do your best work when you have writer's cramp. I do not. But so the best way to get rid of that mental cramp is to more or less massage it. And what I mean by massaging is go for a walk. I found out that exercise, if you ever want to free your mind, and you ever want to relax your mind and just let everything go for a walk. Exercise. Right? Another thing also, you might have to change your style altogether. Now, of course, I said walking, and obviously walking is changing your scenery, but I mean going to a lake. Go sit at the lake, and even if you don't, because I've done this before, I've gone to the lake, and I'm a fisherman, but I've gone to the lake to free my mind. I would take a fishing pole, but I didn't have anything on it. Didn't have lures, didn't have bait, didn't have anything. I just threw a hook in the water just to be out there, just to relax my mind, just to free my mind. And you'll be surprised at the outcome, of how better you feel, how so much better you'll feel after you freed your mind. Just sit out on the lake, just not doing anything, just relaxing. Or if you go for a walk, you just don't know how much better you feel doing that. And so I found that to be a great mind freer. But maybe you don't want to walk. Maybe you don't want to. Maybe you're not. You don't like to fish, or you don't want to go to the lake. What else can you do? Well, you can do something else. You can watch TV if you want. Just something that frees your mind. And sometimes sometimes your ideas will come from TV. You're wondering how in the world can you make this character be more lively, or how can you make this character be zany or whatever. Find a comedy. How you can make this character be more funny? Watch a comedy. How can you make this character be more dramatic? Watch a drama. If you're writing a horror story and you just come across a point to where you can't think of anything else, watch a horror movie. I mean, anything to get the creativeness flowing, and you'll be surprised. But I'm actually a fan of going for walks. Going for walks, going to the lake, because that in itself is just a treat, to do that. But like I say, if you don't want to do that, then there are other options to free your mind. But you'll be surprised once you do whatever it is, and it might be cleaning, it might be, doing anything other than writing, right? Anything other than writing. So, and you'd be surprised that when you're doing that thing that you're doing, you have things that start clicking, things that start popping. You'd be like, "Oh, I can use that in my story. How that character can come alive. That's how this. That's how that." And you'll be surprised how things will start moving, and you'll forget about the movie. And as far as going walking, you will run back to the house just to get that idea back on the paper, because see, now your mind is, and now you're ready to write. Now you're ready to create. Now you're ready to put that thing in motion. Right? And so that's my advice, is just to get rid of writer's block. Stop writing. Free your mind. Go do something other than writing, and watch and see. Don't those ideas come pouring in, come flowing in, right? And so that's what I have for you guys. Again, my number, if you are if you reach out to me, let me know how much you're enjoying the podcast, or if you're enjoying the podcast at all, feel free to reach out to me. Or if you have any questions or comments or concerns that you want me to address, either on the podcast or in person through text, reach out to me. That number is 903-452-8811. Again, that number is 903-452-8811. And again, thank you so much for tuning in. Looking forward to being back next week, where we'll be talking about something other than writer's block. So until then, y'all take care, be blessed, and I will see y'all next time.